All right, well, let's get to the mailbag. Not a lot of mail this week, Joe. Did you notice that?
Yeah, a little bit
Yeah,
less.
that's fine. I don't
Yeah.
mind that because a lot of these questions are. Yeah. You got like. Let me. Just one thing to say about the mailbag, bro. If
Then
you
again,
get
wait, yeah, just real quick, sorry, but then again, there was like 6 to 8 suspensions that their mail didn't get
right,
through.
there are a lot of suspensions, but like a lot of you guys, your questions stink. Like they're boring. They're from way long ago. There's you got to be something that like think about like if you're going to ask a question, all right, that your question is going to turn into the answer. Our discussion is going to make a good viral YouTube clip. That's the way you need to look at this mailbag. Ask interesting questions because a lot of you guys ask a lot of stupid questions that are just like, I don't know what you're thinking if you think that we're going to be interested in like a lot of stuff that you guys want to talk about. But let's start off with the Damian Lillard. It's an interesting thing to start off with here. So, from straight to the Baja, Damian Lillard rumor. Hey, Conan, Joey, and Conan's flunky. Oh, that's it. Okay, you know
Oh
what?
wait, I
Straight to
thought
the
that meant me
Baja.
for a second.
No, let's talk about me. You're suspended for 2 weeks. Okay,
Oh, that's
because if
it.
you if your first email submission you bury me in the first line, that's a double suspension. Okay.
There's going to be a triple suspension when you read it.
Oh God. Just want to hear you guys' opinion on the Dame Lillard to Miami rumors. I know Conan must be intrigued being a Miami fan, and my bigger question is, do you think Dame is addicted to the Dade? Thanks. I'll be here all week. No,
All
you
right.
won't
You
be
know
here.
what?
You won't be here
No,
all week.
we're
As
not. This
a matter
isn't
of
going
fact,
to
you won't
be
be here for
answered.
2
I
weeks.
already told you guys last week. If you send any with the blade, date, all that other that you tried to sneak in there at the end, your won't get answered. So keep doing it.
Uh,
And you're
I,
also suspended.
okay,
Yeah.
I know you won't answer it. I know you
Yeah.
won't answer it, but I'm going to make
Yeah.
one comment on this. It's
Right.
fantastic for Miami because, bro, Miami has been in two of the last three NBA Finals with Jimmy Butler. If he has another piece with him, there's a good 2 year window here where they can get in again and maybe do it. So it's definitely
Well,
huge for
here's the
Miami because
problem, bro. You
the
can tell
private
you can tell Portland doesn't want to trade him to Miami. Okay.
right.
And I would not be surprised if he went to Brooklyn. Plus, what's Miami going to give from? They already traded Gabe to the Lakers, Struce to the Cavaliers. I highly doubt that they're going to trade Hero. They love that guy, and he's real
Right.
young. But anyways, I don't want to be answering this question.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Next is from Brendan Triano. The subject is spooky time is over. What's good, fellas? It's the mayor of K100. So I've always been a fan growing up of The Undertaker. I love the spooky stuff and the element of fear he presented as a character. I was a fan of Bray Wyatt when he's a Bayou cult leader, would be cryptic and all that. Notice I said was. Currently, Malakai Black is my favorite wrestler. I really enjoy his in-ring work, and I think he presents interesting ideas towards his character. With all that being said, The Undertaker's gone. W show is better without Wyatt due to more serious presentation of storylines, and sometimes my man Malachi is a bit too much with the lights off, lights on stuff. So my question is, if wrestling going forward is just better without the supernatural stuff, Undertaker had his character kind of grandfathered in through an era of where people were legit scared of him. These days, you have to really stretch your suspension of disbelief to dig a character like that. Is it worth it for the current audience to have to do that? I feel Malachi can still be with the dark arts and cult stuff on a more grounded basis rather than spraying magic mist and teleporting. Thoughts? P.S. Joe is my bro, but he needs a tan this summer. He makes Elmer's glue look like it has a sunburn. That's a great line right there, Conan. Conan,
Pretty
what do you think
accurate.
about that? Conan,
I liked it a lot.
Joe's tan makes him look like Elmer's glue has a sunburn.
Right. That's awesome.
Very
He
creative on that.
he
I
ain't
gotta
gonna
give Brandon
listen.
Trout.
I told Joe to get a suntan, stunner shades. He don't care. He loves that Unabomber Proud Boys look. But
I saw a
he
great
is.
quote about these
He,
glasses, and I don't think I can use it
I
on this show.
I'll
I
bet
want him.
Joe.
Yeah.
Joe, you wanted to have kids?
No, we're not gonna have kids. No.
Okay, but if you did have a kid, I think Elmer Feeney would be the name of your kid. Would be like a proper name.
great name.
Yeah, right.
But
Elmer
I
Feeney.
he even goes to a double take when they see Joe.
Um.
But
So on a comedy clip on YouTube, this guy. You ever hear of Shane Gillis?
Yes.
No. Okay, so he's the guy that was on Saturday Night Live for like an hour, and then they fired him because of cancel culture. They found clips of
Hmm.
him doing I was gonna say anti-Asian, just Asian jokes, whatever. Can't do that anymore. He was wearing sunglasses like these on the clip I was watching, and underneath, someone said Shane rocking the shades. Someone, what the is that? And because they looked like mine, I looked it up. Apparently, the joke about glasses like this and the theory is that if you wear them, you're because people wear these indoors because they're nervous around crowds. So if you see someone call something, it means they're making fun of someone for potentially being on. I never knew that before.
That's a hell of a deal.
Long story short.
For this question,
Where's my
okay?
kazoo?
It's very. I think what people forget about Malakai Black.
Now, I don't do drugs though, just weed.
I actually hit that by accident, but still.
So Malakai Black. Let's not forget. Like, let's do a let's go back in time. Remember when Malakai Black came into AEW? Joe, do you remember?
I certainly do. Yeah.
What was the big thing about, like, what was the big narrative around that? Like, there was a story going on at that time because people were surprised when he showed up at AEW. Do you remember that story? What was going on?
Well, he was there, and then the rumor was that he was leaving.
No. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm talking about. WWE had, like, literally invested like 4 weeks worth of vignettes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
To build up his character,
mm-hmm.
and then they let him go.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, based off the vignettes that they had built up with, like, a few weeks later, he showed up on AEW TV based on the production machine that the WWE had put in to build up his character with the vignettes.
Right.
So now So now what AEW is trying to do, they tried to piggyback off that with their production. Okay. Now I like the House of Black. Like, their presentation is very good. But if this gimmick was in WWE, it would be 10 times better with the production machine behind him, right? And also, I don't like the they do the lights on and lights off, right? But it's very weird when their segment's over, they turn the lights off and they go to commercial, which is kind of weird because, like, when you turn the lights off, there's an anticipation from the fans, like, okay, who's going to be in the ring when they come back on? But they end his segments by turning the lights off, which is a weird out. You know, so it's like, you just can tell it's like they're just confused, like, how to actually, build this, produce this gimmick, and because it's not the WWE production machine. Like, what do you think about that, Conan?
Yeah, well, their production is just levels higher than anybody in the game.
Right. Yeah.
But you know who makes that? What really makes that group menacing is the girl in the witch hat. What's her? Julie Hart. Yeah.
When she held up the
skeleton. Yeah. Oh, the mask. That's right. Andrade's mask. Yeah.
Yeah. She held it up.
Give me my mask. Give me my mask back. Yeah.
Next up, Jason Turpin. The subject is Hulk Hogan gym stories. Hey guys, Hulk Hogan just did an interview with Men's Health. Strange part of the interview is when the Hulk showed off his preacher curl machine. He called it the Crippler and said that other wrestlers couldn't hang with him and throw up. He said Big Show was one of them. I know Hulk works every interviewer, but it seems weird to try to say something that dumb to a fitness magazine. I've never heard of someone getting sick from doing arms. Joe, you got this? How long is this clip?
You want to see the clip? All right.
Let me see this.
I didn't think you wanted to see
Starts at 9:17. I'm sure it's not that long. If we're just showing him curling.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever work out with Hulk or hear any stories of the intensity of his preacher curl sets? Of course not. Thanks, Jason Turpin. P.S. I've attached a picture of me with Buff Bagwell. And his kid, I guess.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, you want to see this?
Yeah, let me watch this.
Favorite.
See what it is.
Yeah, this is the Crippler. This is my main machine for running people off. And usually the wrestlers or my friends would go out and puke out of one of those doors. And one time the Big Show didn't want me to catch him puking, so I heard him in my bathroom puking. So I put $5 and I put a sticker up there to see the incredible puking giant. But this is the machine. He's my boy. I'm just teasing, but that did happen.
All right, Dad. Okay, all right.
This is a Strive piece.
I've seen enough. Bro, that piece of equipment is in like every gym.
Every gym.
Okay, so I can't see. Bro, I've never seen anybody like puke from arms. I see them puke from big squats. Stuff like throw from like heavy squats, but not arms. I think this is Hogan just like being Hogan.
Yeah, there's another question later about Hulk's exaggerations. So.
Well, he ain't afraid to let a lie get in the way of a good story, brother. and let me just say this: Big Show was mega strong. Okay.
Yeah.
So I doubt that happened.
Yeah. Next is from Hank Beanie. Oh my God, this guy might get suspension. The subject is Disco Inferno, spreader of misinformation.
Uh-oh.
Okay, and he puts a meme at the top of this as caution, you are entering a no spin zone. Okay? Hey guys, a recent clip has surfaced where K100's own Disco Inferno claims that the biggest rating loser in WCW was Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell. Buff said in a shoot interview that Disco used to come up to him in the gym and thank him for his paycheck. Disco, can you explain these discrepancies? Okay. Two things can be right at once. Number one, Lex Luger and Buff Bagwell were not like the biggest ratings losers, but whenever I would do the minute by minute ratings, right? Whenever they had an in-ring interview, just the two of them, when they were doing a team where they were together, bro, their in-ring interviews were just not doing. There was losing numbers minute by minute, and that's not. I'm not. I'm fans of those guys. I wasn't like be somebody that turned the channel because I thought their interviews were funny, but people were turning them off. Okay, period. That's a fact. If anyone wants to go back and look at the minute by minute ratings and stuff for things for the period of time, this is 20 something years ago, but this is verifiable, right? I absolutely used to come up to him and thank him for his paycheck. That was like a running joke, but we always used to like. Buff was an A1 personality. Okay, him and Luger were very arrogant. And we would always like play along with the gimmick. And like I would say things like I'd walk up to Buff and like we'd joke to Buff, it's like thank you for thank you for the check this week. I really appreciate it, bro. And, right. And we'd like have a like thing like we bro said that's a joke. It's funny.
That's all we did was entertain each other all day,
all the time. Like that, yeah. So that's
they were running jokes all the time, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not. But the thing is, like Buff Bagwell wasn't like always a rating loser. Just the one thing that always just would constantly do bad numbers and people turned off is when Buff and Luger would do in-ring promos. And there was a period of like, they must have like it was just like 4 or 5 of them. But I was just like, when I was doing the minute by minute ratings, I would say that was the thing I would.
This is in like 2000.
Right? Yeah. So it's like, and WCW was, the WWE was kicking around at that time and stuff. So it's not like, I'm not knocking them. I'm just pointing out a fact that the number one thing that like, consistently would just lose viewers whenever they were on was when Buff and Luger would do in-ring promos together. Okay.
So I found that article, DI, that you've referenced before, as have I, where Meltzer found that in this quarter in late '97, you were actually you would gain the most viewers in your segment.
Right.
Okay.
When they first started analyzing the numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, and this was a period of time when I was doing my TV title run when I came back.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I was pretty hot on TV. All right, so go ahead.
So, but I wanted to read you the big winners and the big losers here, according to Meltzer and the statistics. So the ratings draws at the time that would always increase the numbers during the segment was Disco, Roddy Piper, Jericho, and this is for both promotions, by the way. So Steve Austin, Alex Wright, Six, Hugh Morris, Mortis, Ric Flair, and Goldberg were the guys that contributed to higher ratings most. Okay.
Now, no Hall or Nash.
The biggest losers. Number 1, Scott Hall.
Wow.
Minus 25, which means he dropped a 0.5 and they added up into 25, I guess, right? The Headbangers, Jeff Jarrett, the Steiners, Mongo, Kurt Hennig, Conan is listed as a -9. Ultimo Dragon, the Godwins, Hector Garza, and Lex Luger. So I wanted to see if Luger was in there. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Well, isn't
that weird that
no doubt that I was a bigger
down?
Ratings draw than Conan, and the reason, and I should have beat him every time that we wrestled. It would have been the proper booking, I think. If I was the booker, I would have been squashing Conan every week. Would be good booking. I think it would have got me over. Do you agree with that, Conan? That I should have squashed you every week,
bro. As presumptuous as this might sound, it don't matter because I always found a way to get over.
Yes.